We start with a debate over the economy right now. U.S. Congressman Joe Walsh is a Republican from Illinois. Sir, I want you to go through a couple of the details of the bill you're voting on this evening. I read through the text today. Here's what I learned. The plan doesn't say what exactly has to be cut, but it has a special exemption for war on terrorism spending. The cap reduces spending of the federal government to 19.9% by the year 2021, 10 years from now. And both the House and the Senate would need a two-thirds vote on a constitutional amendment to balance the budget, and then it would go to the states to ratify. And if the House and Senate both did not get that two-thirds vote, the debt ceiling could not be raised. Let me ask you the most fundamental question most people, I think, will ask after hearing what I just said. Your side, led by Grover Norquist, has criticized the president for not calling for specific budget cuts. Why is the bill you're voting on today not mention any specific cut?
Hey, Chris, let me just correct you. I'm not an artist, so this isn't performance art. And Grover Norquist, great guy, isn't leading my side, all right?
Oh, he isn't? Okay.
No, he's not,
he thinks
Chris.
He is.
He's not. Well, he may think so, but he's not, all right? And you know better than that. Look.
Did you sign his petition?
We are passing.
Did you sign his petition?
Yes, I've signed a number of petitions, Chris.
Why his?
Because I do not want to increase taxes, and I won't increase taxes. Hey, Chris, let me answer your first question.
Who wrote his petition?
Hey, Chris.
He did. You didn't write it.
Chris.
He did.
Hey, Chris, let me answer your first question. Let's try there, my friend, all right? Yes, the House is going to do something historic tonight. We will, for the first time, pass a plan out of the House. Now, you may not like this, but this is a plan that's going to. This is a plan that's going to pass out of the House. And the key aspect, Chris, the key aspect of this plan is the balanced budget amendment, forcing members of Congress to balance their books every year. Yes, there'll be some flexibility with the cuts when this goes over to the Senate, and there may very well be some negotiation and flexibility on the caps. But look, I'm a freshman who came here to change the way this town does business, and we're going to do that by structurally, Chris, reforming spending.
Okay, you signed Grover Norquist's petition. He says there should be specificity in the cuts. Why does your bill you're talking about today, you're saying is a plan, have no plan for cuts? Where are the cuts? It doesn't have any cuts. I've got the bill right here. It's not in here.
Hey, Chris, it calls for $111 billion in cuts. But again, my friend, I also signed a pledge that said I will not raise. And by the way, this wasn't Grover's pledge.
Why don't you answer my question?
Hey, Chris, let me answer your question.
Okay, where are the cuts?
Hey, Chris, I also signed a pledge that said I'm not going to vote to raise the debt ceiling unless we pass a balanced budget amendment. That, Chris, I know you want to get away from this. That's the key aspect of this plan. And unlike you, I'm pretty optimistic. I think we've got a great chance to pass a balanced budget amendment, Chris, out of both the House and the Senate this year and send it to the states.
Okay, let me just ask you three questions. The bill you're going to vote for this bill today,
one
right?
At a time, Chris.
Well, okay, I can't get the first answer.
Yes,
Will you tell me why it doesn't name the cuts? Why doesn't it name the cuts?
It calls for $111 billion in cuts, Chris. And again, in the bill, Chris.
Where are the cuts?
In the bill. In non-defense discretionary spending.
What's that?
$111 billion. Chris, you know what that is. Again, you want to harp on this. I'm telling you right now, for the first time, where's the president's plan, Chris Matthews?
Right, that's
where's the Democrats' plan?
Right.
No. But wait a minute.
You've criticized the president for not having a plan, and you don't have one. I'm looking at your document. Have you read it?
I'll criticize the president for more than not having a plan. He's not serious, and he's playing politics. For the first time in this town, Chris, the House is going to pass a serious plan to get spending in this town under control. And you want to ignore the most important piece of that, which is a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. And I got to tell you something. The American people are beyond you on this, and they're beyond the president. They want us to do something dramatic.
Okay, your bill doesn't specify cuts. It calls in 10 years for a reduction in government spending to 19.9% of the economy. Are you happy with that number that would reduce it to basically $3 trillion from 3.75? It really doesn't change it much, that. But my point to you is, do you really think you're going to get two-thirds vote in the House for a balanced budget amendment? Two-thirds vote.
Hey, Chris, the fiscal situation now, this
Will you get a two-thirds? You said you're going to get a two-thirds vote.
Yes. is so severe that we have a great chance this year to pass this out of the House. Look, 80% of the American people believe in a balanced budget amendment. Most states have to live according to one. All households do. This is something Americans understand.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, all these Democrats, Chris, that have not put forth a plan or a budget, they are going to have to sign on as well.
Okay, just to repeat what's obvious to everybody watching, your plan does not have any cuts in it. It doesn't explain where the cuts are.
What's the president's plan? Hey, Chris,
that's the point. It's tit for tat. I pointed out that your party has said the president doesn't have a plan. Your plan doesn't have any cuts in it.
Hey,
would you
Chris,
explain that to me?
Your president, who sends a tingle up
He's
your
our
leg,
president, first of all.
Your president has not been serious in 6 months. Why do you ignore that, Chris?
Okay.
Why do you ignore that?
I think it's our president.
He is our president.
And most of all, tingle's your word. So let's go on.
He doesn't send a thrill up my leg, Chris, all right? And he has not been serious about this debt crisis. And why don't you jump on that?
Okay, let me ask you about the word lying. You've accused our president, you've said it's my president, I've accused him of lying. Do you like the word lying? When he speaks a mistruth, Chris, and he's not truthful, he's lying. And when he says on August 3rd that the lights in the country are going to turn out and he doesn't know if he can guarantee Social Security checks, he's lying because that's not the case. And he, Chris, has the discretion to make those payments. Let me just ask you this. If we hold up this process so that you can have your balanced budget amendment today and you can go through all these measures which are not going to pass the Senate and waste a lot of time on this, 2/3 of the Senate's going to vote for a balanced budget amendment. 2/3.
Chris, we have a historic chance to get this done. And don't talk about wasting time with me. What has this president done for 6 months?
Let me ask you,
Come on,
August 2nd, let me ask you this. If we do have spiking interest rates, if we do have a drop, a downgrade of our bond rating in this country, and we do have a financial crisis because we haven't done this on time, which you say is not that important, will you resign?
August 2nd's not important, Chris. Solving this debt crisis is important.
If we have a crisis in August, will you resign?
Chris, will you resign? Will you leave your show?
I don't hold a public office.
Chris, what kind of a silly question is that?
You know what? Because you're saying it doesn't matter.
Hey,
because
Chris,
the silliness is on the part of those who say we don't have to act.
Questions you're asking me. If we raise this debt ceiling without real spending reform, Chris, that's when the markets are going to react negatively. We have got to change the way this town does business. I know you don't acknowledge that, but we have to, and we have a great chance to do it.
One last question. Are you concerned that this is going to go on through August, and we're not going to get this done quickly? Are you concerned about that?
Chris, my biggest concern is that every single day we're placing trillions of dollars of debt on the backs of your kids and my kids. We have to stop that, Chris. Come on. What's the size of the U.S. economy right now, sir? $3.7 trillion this year. What is the size of the U.S. economy? Why, hey, Chris, let me ask you a question. I'm just asking, what's the size of the U.S. economy? Why are you asking a question like that? Why? Because I thought you might know the answer. Why? Let me ask you this. What's the president's plan? What's the president's plan, Chris? Is to sign a debt ceiling bill before August 2nd, which you say is not important. What will that what is his plan? What that will do is avoid default. It will avoid a crisis in the world, which everyone recognizes who understands the situation. Hey, Chris, you challenge that, and that's your right. You're a congressman. Chris, therefore, I think you should think about your responsibilities. Chris, how serious a job has he done with government spending? Sir, this is I want to see both sides look at government spending. He has proposed. Chris, are you happy with the job he's done? Today, he supports the Gang of Six with up to a $4 trillion debt reduction. You oppose it. You have said you will do everything you can to stop that. You, sir, did he support his own commission, Chris? Chris, did he support his own debt commission? Did you? Did he no? Did he mention debt in his State of the Union? Well, let's stop the absurdity here, sir. Come on, every time Chris. You make a challenge to him, I ask you, do you have specific cuts? This is what you do on your show. This is what you bully. You know what you do? You bully guests. Answer me a question. Did the president ignore the debt situation in his State of the Union address? We have seen this issue coming, sir, and you have seen it and planned for this kind of obstructionism from the beginning. You guys have been organizing yourselves to bring this to a crisis, and you've succeeded, sir. Hey, Chris, I'm just asking, will you play by the rules and quit
if you're
Here's
wrong.
how out of touch you are. You said Grover Norquist is my boss to
Well, I
start
think he
this
is.
show. Oh, come on. How silly is that?
He
Let me ask
wrote
you
the
a question.
petition, and you signed it the way he told you to. Verbatim.
Chris,
You did what he told you to
Chris,
do.
I've signed a number of petitions.
Why?
Why did the Senate vote 97 to nothing, Chris? 97 to nothing against the president's budget. Why?
Sir,
Why?
You signed. I'm
Why?
just asking. Well, we're not getting anywhere. This is childish, sir. I've asked you why your budget
And this,
proposal
Chris,
today you're
this
voting
is
for
why
has
a lot
no
of people
proposal.
don't come on your show because it tends to get childish. You don't let people answer, my friend. Look, the House is going to do something historic tonight.
Yeah,
you
well,
may not like it, but let's see how this plays out. And I think there's a fighting chance this year to pass a balanced budget amendment out of both houses. By the way, do you support that, Chris?
Let me just ask you,
it?
sir, you started this conversation. You called the president of the United States a liar. Then you said he's my president, not yours.
I said he's lied,
Okay,
Chris.
well,
our president has lied.
Okay, your pal
Yes.
Joe Wilson says he's a liar. You say he's lying. You're all in the same game. I think it's bad
We're all
behavior.
in the same game. You know, you were a lot before you got so
You've got
caught
to
up in
improve
this
your
president.
language a little bit,
No.
sir. We'll be better off.
you
But
need to
please
be
come
more-
back on the show.
You
I
need to be
appreciate
more
you coming
objective,
on.
but I love it, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on, sir. Congressman Joe Walsh.
Thank you.